Welcome to the Healing Incubator podcast. I am your host, Kyonna F. Brown, the forgiveness expert, and we are all about the truth, forgiveness, and healing. You are entering a controlled environment where there are others who are reaching to grow in their entrepreneurial journeys, personal lives, and self-care. Are you ready to heal? Hello, everyone. I am Kyonna F, your forgiveness expert, and you are tuning in to our actually second live episode of the Healing Incubator podcast. We decided to bring visuals because we know that there are several platforms that you all like to engage with us. So I am excited today about the guest that I have. If you've listened, if you've been tuning in before, she's a guest that we've had before, Miss Valarie Howard. And literally while we were talking, I did not want it to end, but the podcast was unfortunately over and we ran out of time. So I am excited to have her back here with us, as well as excited about some things that she's done with me in the past that's going to happen in the future. In the past is going to happen in the future. Yes. So get excited about that. So I know that some of you know about the Forgiveness Nation films, Forgiveness Nation media. She has been a part of an amazing film that I am almost finished editing, and I can't wait to share it with you all. But guys, get excited. I am ready for you to join in the conversation with myself and Miss Valarie Howard.
Hey, how are you?
Hey. Long time. So for those who were not a part of the show the last time, or who haven't seen you on the platform, because you know that I think about it, you've actually been on Forgiveness Across the Nation and the Healing Incubator, and now you're back again and you're in the short film. So
yes.
Tell those of our viewers who have not gotten a chance to meet you who you are.
Hi, my name is Valarie Howard, and I am a ghostwriter and an author as well. You can follow me on Instagram at Write, that is Write as in your writing, WRITE, the letter V, that is the letter VIE, on Instagram. You can also follow me at Write the letter V on Twitter, and you can follow me at Valarie Howard on Facebook.
Okay, awesome. So she has a couple of tricks up her sleeve. And today we're going to find out some more information about the topic, truth and pain. And so I don't like to tell everything. It's like to come in with straight, honest, true conversation. And so, of course, I've gotten a quote. And this quote is from Chuck Palahniuk. I hope that I'm saying your name right, sir. It says, "It's so hard to forget pain, but it's even harder to remember sweetness. We have no scar to show for happiness. We learn so little from peace." So, I really wanted to kind of dig into that quote with you, because we always have great conversation.
Yeah.
And, there's really truth to that, because when there's something good that happens, there's no scar. So how do we, engage in the good thoughts and remember them? But when the pain is there, there's a scar, there's a wound, and there's always potential for reopening if it hasn't healed. So what do you think about that quote?
I really do believe that there's a lot of truth in that quote. I believe that, I think the fact that happiness and joy and things like that, the fact that they don't leave some kind of visible evidence that they were here, they're more like the spring flowers. They here and they're beautiful, they're awesome, but when they wither, there's no evidence or trace left of it. And so, and then when the winter comes, that seems longer and harsher and things like that, and those are things that we feel a lot more. So I do understand that. Say again.
I said, I love how you put that.
Yes, I compare it to the seasons because, it does seem like when spring and summer come, they're fleeting. I mean, already we're coming to the end of the summer. We're going into fall. I mean, I woke up this morning and it said 55 degrees, and I said,
my son asked me the other day, he said, Is summer over? Like when we went outside, I was like, yeah, it's almost fall. Yeah, pretty much.
Oh my goodness. And never before have we seen this. I don't know why fall wants to be on time this year. It's been late for the past decade, but whatever. So global climate change. But I think that there's a lot of truth to be said in that. In the way I think that we can, root ourselves in our joys and in our happy times a little bit more, I think is by being present.
Yeah.
I think because oftentimes when that good moment does come, I think we're kind of like halfway in it, wherein we are waiting for the other shoe to drop. And
Mhm.
so, like, we really don't enjoy the fullness of, and so I actually think there's more happiness and joy that life has to offer that we're just not accepting
Mhm.
because we are waiting to brace ourselves for the painful hills or valleys that will come after this. And
Yeah.
the truth of the matter is that life is balanced, life is patterned. Life is always going to have ups, life is always going to have downs, and you don't have to hide every wound, nor do you have to broadcast every victory. You take life as it
Mhm.
comes and you deal with it accordingly. And, you grow from everything. I think that one of the things I thought was interesting about what Paul said about the development of faith is that God uses our anxieties. God said, Paul reminds us to cast all of our cares upon Him and to also pour out our anxieties to God in the form of supplication and prayer. And
Mhm.
so, really, our tug and pull, our that natural war that we have, that natural pendulum swing that we have between anxiety and faith is actually what builds and grows our faith. Because every time I get an anxiety, I can turn it into a prayer, and then God strengthens my faith. And so we use, our anxieties and our fears for the upbuilding of our, positive side, our strengths. And I think we can do the same thing with our joy and relation to our sadness. And we take our sadness and we turn it into, okay, the next time, what do I want to happen? And we set a vision for ourselves. And really, the reality is that the Bible says that without a vision, people perish, and so I think oftentimes I think we are the reason why it seems that way, that the pain is heavier than the good, is because our vision is on the pain. That's
Yeah.
all we see. And then when the good time does happen, we can't even enjoy it because we're actually focused, we're not present. And so by
Yeah.
being present, I think, and being in the here and now, we can really there's a lot more that life has to offer us that we just may not actually be open to.
Yeah. You said a whole mouthful, a whole lot of great things.
I'm
But the one thing that I really want to expound on, especially with the fact the topic that we're talking about, the truth of pain.
Mhm.
A lot of people go through anxiety. You hit on the topic of anxiety. And I kind of want to sit and unpack that for a little bit because of the season that we're in. Season of forgiveness.
Right.
Shameless plug. Uh, that's the name of the short film, guys, by the way. But we're in this season right now where a lot of people don't know how to deal with the changes of the world, and that brings about anxiety, and overexerted anxiety can ultimately turn into pain, right?
Yeah.
And so, what are some tools or tactics that you can share, because this is for your everyday person, the podcast, this is for your entrepreneur, this is just about your overall journey in life. What are some tools and tactics that you can help people navigate through the process of anxiety so that they don't live in a place of pain?
Absolutely. And I think anxiety is just a fear of change overall. And so the biggest tool I want to provide you, if you hear nothing else from me, listen to this. We have to learn how to drop the immortality complex I think we hold on to.
Hmm.
Immortality complex can be simply being that I'm supposed to stay in this particular place in my life forever. Or the way that it is right now, it's not supposed to change from this. Like you just got married and you're going through that blissful phase right after you get married, and it's always supposed to be like this. It's never supposed to change. You developed an immortality complex for that, area of your life, whatever it may be. It's a relationship, it's a job, it's an opportunity, whatever. Um, Even if it's you know, an aspect of yourself, or a version of yourself that you really really like, and you maybe really liked yourself as a child, but guess what, adulthood is coming. What then? And so you develop an immortality, and that's kind of natural and it's okay. But every
Hmm.
time that prioritize that over change, that's when you're going to get anxiety, because change doesn't listen to you. It changes. Change is like 2020. I'm gonna do what I want to do when I want to do. Bye.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So then, when that inevitability matches your immortality complex is always going to lose, and that's where the anxiety comes from. And I've read this quote, and it was such a powerful, since your broadcast is about forgiveness. I saw this quote about forgiveness, and it was, forgiveness is the fragrance the flower releases upon the heel who crushes it.
Mm.
And I think that, you know, I was like, what? How could somebody describe forgiveness like that? Like, that's just so morbid, isn't it? And then I thought about it, but I was like, but wait, I had the immortality complex on the flower. I thought the flower was supposed
Hmm.
to be there forever, but what if the heel was actually just reason, or just a means to help the flower to transition
Mm.
from beauty into nutrition?
Yeah.
Now it's, it used to be beauty, but now it's, and it's just, soaking up the sun and all this stuff, and now it's become a feeder of the earth. And so oftentimes I think when we can't see our, way through our transitions, like, well, what am I going to do next? What am I going to be next? Who am I going to be next?
Hmm.
That's very nerve-wracking, of course, absolutely. And walking blindfolded through life, it has not been easy. A lot of people have been doing that throughout the majority of this year, and
Yes.
they may very well continue to do so even into next year, unfortunately. But so I'm not minimizing the feeling of anxiety at all, not by any means. For
Hmm.
some people, anxiety can really be felt, not just something that's quote unquote in your head. Like for me, when I have an anxiety attack, my nerves are going off. I feel like my nerves are on overfire, and I can feel that from head to toe, to the point where I can't eat, I can't move, and I can't sleep. So anxiety really is a serious thing. But
How do you deal with that?
yeah,
When you get into that stage where you just feel like you can't go on, you can't move, like how do you maneuver through that?
yeah, sometimes, letting go of the immortality complex doesn't work. Sometimes I need to do some more tangible means. So in that case, mindfulness is another powerful tool. Mindfulness is, there are many forms of mindfulness. There is, mindfulness of, the senses. There's mindfulness of your awareness. There's mindfulness of even your emotions. And so,
Oh, let's stop right there.
mhm,
We're going to stop right there because you just picked a key word that I was literally about to go into, as it relates to your immortality, right?
mhm,
So stay with me. The other day, I was talking to a fitness coach, right?
yeah,
And I showed her a picture of myself. And I said, I really want to get back to her. Now, my emotion, today is stuck with, you know, how did I get here, and being frustrated with it. And like, all of a sudden I just blew up. Like I just gained weight, and I have to realize that I had surgery. I had all these things that happened. Right. But emotionally, I am drained because I am looking at this image which I want to still live, talking about that immortality,
mhm,
which I still want that image to live. And I'm trying to get back to a place, where I can't even go. Cause she told me, she said, let's forget about her because she no longer exists. And so a lot of times we're stuck in emotions from immortality, and those things no longer exist. So in saying that, how do we release ourselves from those emotions?
very good. And I think it's that we have what I call the must, MUST. I must.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, for whatever it is, you have told yourself, I must be this girl. I must be this woman.
Mm-hmm.
I must be her. Because the alternative is, if I am not her, then I will be fill in the blank. And whatever that
Mm-hmm.
fill in the blank is, often there's a fear with that. There's a fear associated with that. You have to dig deeper. You have to question that. You have to face that. You have to ask yourself, why am I so scared of that? Why do I not like? Why am I so uncomfortable with this?
Mm-hmm.
And then um, is, and then you have to determine, well, if it's something that I could adjust to, then how do I do that? And then if you determine, well, if this is something that would be unhealthy for me to adjust to or unsafe for me to adjust to, then what is keeping me here stuck? What am I doing?
Yeah.
You have to evaluate yourself. And that requires a complete standstill. And I think we often make ourselves feel guilty for doing that. So, I mean, like literally, I mean, people joke about it, but taking a mindfulness day from work, sometimes you really have to do that. Sometimes
Yeah.
life, when life is in a flur and a blur, your mind will not let you stop. You have to make your mind stop and stand still so that you can evaluate yourself. Otherwise, you're gonna keep asking yourself the same question over and over again. It's like running in a hamster wheel. You're doing a lot of effort, but you're not really moving anywhere. And so, when it comes to really getting into touch with your emotions, you have to being mindful of your emotions. I think sometimes you have to understand that the way that you're going to go, or what who you're going to be when you face your emotions, is probably not who you're going to be after you face your emotions. That's one thing. I mean, there are probably some things that you don't like now or that you don't agree with right now that you probably have to adapt to or adopt. And that's okay. That doesn't take away from your value. That doesn't take away from your worth. That doesn't take away from your identity. But we hinge our identity and our value on a lot of things that we, especially things that pertain to our image or things that pertain to our net worth or our economy or whatever. Like if I don't have a job, then that means I'm worthless. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. And so you have to unhinge so that even if I am unemployed, for example, am I still this? And I think that dealing with those polarities, can I be unemployed and valuable at the same time? Can I be this and that at the same time? And you got to find a new normal. And it's okay to be unstable for that time period. I've learned to become comfortable with uncomfortability and
Mhm.
to become uncomfortable with comfortability. So that moment right when you get comfortable, that's when things start shaking up again. You have to find your new epicenter. You have to find your new, your new core, because it will change and shift, and it's just a matter of finding and keeping up with that, because we have to realize that part of us is moving. It's not
Mhm.
stagnant. It's not rooted like
Change.
a tree. It's moving, and you have to find every now and then you have to like recalibrate and say, okay, I was here, a year ago, where am I now? And you have
Mhm.
to, maybe it's not, you don't have to wait that long. Okay, I was here 5 weeks ago, where am I now? You really have to keep up with yourself like that,
Yeah.
because you would be surprised how much we change as a person. I mean, look at this, or don't
Absolutely.
change, because look
Yeah.
at y'all president. I
Yeah.
mean, that's 13 years old trapped in a 70-year-old man's body, and we're trying to figure out when then he's going to die. Yeah, but it's okay. So, oh, forgive me.
I forgive you.
Thank you.
We are in a position in a posture of healing. And so anything that needs to be forgiven shall be forgiven. Jesus Christ died for it. So you are great. Uh, so, literally going back to the conversation of emotion, because I think that emotion is a big part of pain, right? When you look at how you feel in that moment, what your next moment is after that can either bring joy or it can bring pain.
Mm.
And then sometimes that pain that you go through after the emotional change might be, like, say, for an example, exercising, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You have an emotion that, for me, I have to lose this weight, or, for the other person. But going through the pain to get to the process of seeing the benefits of the fruit of your labor can be really, really hard. Do you have maybe some type of schedule that you kind of set when you're trying to get to a place of healing? Um, yeah.
Um, I don't really have a schedule per se. I don't. I know that if I really want something, I'm gonna go for it every single day. Period. Because I mean, I know that exercise might be different because you have to give yourself rest days, so that's kind of different. But I know for me, if I really want something, I go for it every single day as much as I can. Now, for what I wanted to talk about was, because you're talking about with emotion comes pain. So then if with emotion comes that pain, um, you'd be surprised. I think my word I'm going to use here is adaptability. You'd be surprised how much we can adapt to. You'd be surprised what we can adapt to. Okay. First of all, you and I are both not the exact same shape, but we're both, African American. You know how long our ancestors went through what they went through? It's because the only
Mhm.
reason they survived it is because they adapted to
They
it. Now
adapted.
there's negative consequences, but they adapted. Okay. So adaptability is a part of survival. When you're going through transition, that you'd be surprised that once you hit that area of pain, whether it be physical or emotional, you will learn how to get used to it.
Yeah.
You're gonna, when you meet the brunt end of it, that first day, its second day might wipe you out. But come day 3 and day 4, if you keep with it, you're gonna get used to it. That's gonna become your new normal, whatever that is.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
that's how you get through it. You just have to let yourself get used to it long enough so that you can push past it a little bit more. And it's called, I think the workout trainers call it overload theory. And that you will overload yourself and push yourself a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And that's how you develop muscle, build muscle, or something like that. And that's what you're looking to do. Um,
You know what? When you're saying this, I want these people that are listening to understand that what you're speaking about right now is literally the process of forgiveness. Is literally the process of healing. You have to adapt to the environment that you're in and produce change while you're in that environment. And not necessarily will there always be a change physically, meaning that people may see a change, but as long as you're doing this thing, you're adapting daily. If someone hurts you, you're adapting to, so to speak, in the workplace, going in and having that mindset that I am going to change, that I am no longer going to allow for this person to be a trigger for me. I am going to do things different daily. If you adapt to that concept, that's the process of healing, which will bring total forgiveness in your life. Girl, again, we've run out of time. Literally, we're past the time limit. So we've done this before, and this is the oxygen tank. Usually people, I get them caught off guard, but for those of you who are just tuning in, I'll let you know what it is. Words can breathe like fresh air when you inhale motivation. It acts like oxygen, informing our brains to reset our mindsets. Please share a minute of motivation that will inspire our listeners and viewers' lives.
okay, motivation. Um, Hmm. I would say change your mind. I think when we say the word repent, we think, "Oh, I'm sorry," and yeah, a little bit of "I'm sorry" comes with that. But that's the word means change your mind, and the real root of that is that perspective is everything. I think that the way that you look at something is oftentimes the it results in why you end up with the results that you end up with. So I remember that I used to have real quick this model for children that I used to counsel. It was a model of a mountain range. And I would have them sit from all four corners of the mountain range, and I would ask the kids together, how many mountains are there? And they would get all different answers. One of them say two, one of them say one of them say three. And then I had everybody stand up, and everybody could see that there were five because there was one little mountain inside all four, four of the other bigger mountains that none of them could see unless they were standing up. And so perspective is everything. And sometimes you just have to, if you want to change your mind about something, move. Move from where
Mm,
you are. It might require you to be or look at something from the shoes of somebody that you disagree with.
yes.
This
Thank
might,
you
yeah.
so much. Oh, that was awesome. I hope you guys got that word. You need to move. And I want to thank you, Valarie, again, for sharing with us today. You're always welcome anytime. The next time you come, because I know you're coming back, we can share. Look, you're about to become a resident of uh, the Healing
I
Incubator
would love to
podcast.
live here. Thank you. Thank you.
But, share with people how they can stay connected with you.
Absolutely. So once again, you can follow me on Instagram. That is write the letter VIE. You can also follow me on Twitter. I actually misspoke earlier. My Twitter handle is I also go by underscore VIE. And then you can follow me on Facebook at Valarie Howard. I have written a book called Kingdom of Gold, Legends of Kaylin. So that's out everywhere where books are sold. You can look for that. And if you want to get in contact with me, send me an email at Valarie Howard valarriehoward.author@gmail.com. valarriehoward.author@gmail.com.
I love your memory technique, guys. For those of you who can't see what she's doing, she had to close her eyes to make
Thank
sure she
you.
got it right.
Yes.
So, guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening in. Today, we talked about the truth about pain. Some of the things that we talked about was being aware of the change that needs to happen in your transition so that you can remove yourself from that stuck place of pain. Pain comes in many different formats as we talked about today. So make sure that you are sharing this podcast out so that other people who may be stuck and don't even know they're stuck in pain can move and they can transition to a place of healing. This is Kyonna F. Brown. Don't forget to set your alarms to remind you that there might be another podcast coming soon. And tune in to make sure that you hear our next amazing guest, because we always have amazing people here. This podcast is made to inspire you personally and professionally in your journey, especially in the areas of truth, forgiveness, and healing. Thank you, Miss Valarie Howard, again for being another phenomenal guest on this podcast. And we will see you all soon.
Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
Bye.